directly into my eyes. For 3 long seconds, the entire ballroom stood frozen. The smile on her face disappeared. The microphone slipped from her trembling hand. Because the man she had told the world was dead, was sitting quietly in the front row. And I wasn't there to ruin her success. I was there to tell the truth. My name is William Carter. I'm 72 years old. For 35 years, I worked as a firefighter in Chicago. I wasn't rich. I never owned fancy cars or expensive watches. My hands were rough from carrying people out of burning buildings, and my back ached from years of climbing ladders with heavy equipment. But every scar on my body reminded me of one thing. I had done my duty. The greatest achievement of my life wasn't the medals hanging on my living room wall. It wasn't the certificate from the mayor. It wasn't even the newspaper article that once called me Chicago's silent hero. My greatest achievement was my daughter, Emily Carter, the little girl who used to run into my arms every evening shouting, "Daddy's home." Her tiny hands always smelled like crayons. She loved chocolate ice cream more than anything. Every Saturday we would walk to the neighborhood park. She would climb onto my shoulders and point toward the tallest buildings downtown. "One day I'll work there," I'd laugh. "Then I'll be the proudest dad in America." Back then, I believed dreams always stayed pure. I had no idea success could change people. When Emily was 16, my wife, Sarah, became seriously ill. Cancer. The word shattered our family. For 2 years we fought together. Hospitals became our second home. I worked double shifts, sold my motorcycle, used every dollar in our savings. Nothing mattered except giving Sarah another chance. One rainy October morning, I held my wife's hand as she whispered her final words. "Take care of our little girl." Those were the last words she ever spoke. Emily cried in my arms for hours. She promised, "Dad, it'll always be you and me." I believed her. Every single word. Life became difficult after Sarah passed away. I learned how to cook. Not because I enjoyed it. Because Emily needed breakfast before school. I learned how to braid hair. The first attempts looked terrible. Emily laughed every morning. "Dad, you made me look like a scarecrow." Soon, I got better. Every parent-teacher meeting, every graduation, every birthday, I was there, sometimes exhausted, sometimes broke, but always smiling. Emily was brilliant. She earned a scholarship to one of the best business schools in America. The tuition covered most expenses. The rest, I paid by working overtime. There were nights I slept only 3 hours. Some mornings I drove to work without remembering the journey. But every paycheck felt worth it. Because I wasn't buying an education. I was buying my daughter's future. Years passed. Emily graduated at the top of her class. A technology company hired her immediately. Within 5 years, she became one of the youngest executives in the country. Magazines wanted interviews. Television shows invited her. Social media called her the self-made millionaire. Every time I heard those words, I smiled proudly, even though one part wasn't true. She wasn't self-made. She had never climbed alone. But I didn't need credit. Watching her succeed was enough. Or so I thought. The first changes were small. Emily stopped visiting every weekend. Then every month. Then only on holidays. Whenever I called, she sounded busy. "Dad, I'm in a meeting." "Dad, I'm traveling." "Dad, I'll call you later." Later rarely came. I told myself, she's building a career. Don't complain. Parents are supposed to sacrifice. One Christmas, I waited all afternoon. The turkey sat untouched on the table. Her favorite pumpkin pie cooled by the window. The clock kept ticking. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Finally, my phone buzzed. "Sorry Dad, something came up. We'll celebrate next time." No phone call, just a text message. I looked at the empty chair across the table, then quietly packed the food into containers. The next morning, I donated everything to a homeless shelter. Months turned into years. Emily bought a mansion overlooking Lake Michigan. She appeared on magazine covers. She spoke at billionaire conferences. She flew in private jets. Meanwhile, I stayed in the same modest brick house where she'd grown up. The roof leaked whenever it rained. The porch creaked with every step. The old swing Sarah once loved still hung beneath the oak tree. I could have asked Emily for help. I never did. Parents don't raise children to become their retirement plan.